16-year-old Pipop.
Yeah.
Where were you? What were you doing?
I was in high school. I was a Boy Scout, and I think I was a Sea Scout at 16.
What's a Sea Scout?
Sea Scout was the water division, if you will, of the Boy Scouts. Like they had explorers, they had sea explorers too. Division of the Boy Scouts.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And I had just gotten my driver's license at 16. And let's see what else. And I would work at the highway department in the summertime on roads construction, putting catch basins in the sides of the roads. And one year I worked at inside the garage of the town of Smithtown Highway Department.
Where did you grow up? Like the location?
Kings Park, New York, on Long Island.
What was Long Island like? Was there much diversity? Was there not?
Diversity in what? In ethnicity, you mean? Diversity?
Yeah.
No, there wasn't much. At least in the town we grew up, it was small town. The predominant two nationalities in the town were Irish and Italian. My high school class only had one Jewish person in it, and we had no black students up until I think we might have had one in our senior year in the class.
All right. What year were you born in?
1945.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Now.
The World War II had just ended.
The World War II.
Had ended before that.
All right. So now moving on to your junior and senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a crazy time, I'm assuming.
It was a fun time. I played a couple of sports. I did wrestling and football, the two primary sports. And then in the spring I did track. The track was discus and shot put throwing.
Now, what was the most major part?
That's where I met your grandmother, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
So 18-year-old Pipop, what were you doing?
18-year-old Pipop was getting married. Yeah. And I was a senior, actually. I was a senior in high school. And did what seniors did. I don't know. We had fun. Went out with my buddies.
Were you the only married senior at the time, or was there other
I
ones?
believe so. The end of the year, May.
And you had a kid at the time?
No,
Not till later?
not until November.
All right. You're so cute, Mom. And what was it like being a younger parent?
It was scary. Very scary.
How?
You think about that now at 18 years old, you had the responsibility of a person's life in your hands and their future. So it was very scary for an 18-year-old person.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And knowing that you were responsible for another human being.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I could not do that. So did you where did you live when you got married and
we lived in an apartment on the second floor of my parents' house. And about a year later or so, we bought a house in Smithtown.
New York? Still?
Yeah,
Okay.
still on Long Island, yeah. Which was the next town over from Kings Park.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did you do? How did you start your...
Well, a friend of my dad's got me a job at an electrical supply house. So I was working in an electrical supply house, driving a truck. I was making $1.35 an hour. And then I had to get another part-time job I had two part-time jobs, one at Robert Hall and one at Martin Paint Stores. And then I also would do electrical work on the side as well. And then I started going to college at night. And I was going to college 2 nights a week. 2 nights a week or 3 nights a week? I can't remember. 2 nights a week, I guess it was. And the other nights I would spend in the library.
Wow. So how did you start off in your career? Did you get there at what age?
Well, in about let me just think a minute here. 1970, about 1971. Prior to that, I was working as an engineer. A friend of mine, because that's what I was going to school for.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine got me a job, who was an engineer, full engineer, and I wasn't, at a company called Electrospace on Long Island. And I worked in his department, and we were laying out production lines for producing mostly military products, radios and things of that nature for the military. And I worked there and I was going to school at night.
Mm-hmm.
I worked there for 2 years, I guess it was. And then as the Vietnam War ended, there was no work. So that we were out of work. We were contracts, military contracts were ending. And I got a job working as another engineer in another company called Instrument Systems. And there we laid out the production lines for the stereo systems that went into the first Boeing 747.
Cool.
And then after about 1.5 years, that job ended. And again, the work for engineers on Long Island was very scarce because there was no military work contracts being done. The war was ending. And I got a job in my Aunt Mary's jewelry factory, again as production manager. And I worked there for a little over a year and a half. And they were bought out by another company, so they were closing that. And I decided to get into the health industry, or look for a job in the health industry, and I got a job in a dental company.
Yeah.
And called Unitech in 1970. And then that's how I still today am in the dental field.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a pretty cool life, Pipop. Thanks for letting me do the interview.
You're welcome, Bobby.